Remember I said that I had kind of a bad feeling about today? Well, something is about to happen. Look at this. Where there's no fires, this is a temperature inversion. It is close to 100 degrees. And if you look up in 1962, Oregon had what was called the Columbus Day Storm. It was October 2 in 1962. So we're, September 8, 9? Anyway, we're supposed to, the Columbus Day Storm had 190 mile an hour winds, gust. And there was horrible damage. And it started out a day like this. It was warm. And they are warning us we're going to have the same thing, that we're supposed to have wind gust 60 miles, 80 miles an hour. And they're telling us to batten down the hatches. So, scary. And with the fire hazards, they said it's going to be devastating if we have that kind of wind. So pray that we don't have that. I am not happy about that. That is scary. Let me see what the temperature is. Might have dropped a little bit.
Maybe another media of that.
93 degrees. Okay, here it says, high wind warning in effect from 5 p.m. until Tuesday, 1 p.m. High wind warning remains in effect. What? East winds, 15 to 30 miles an hour, with widespread gusts of 40 to 55 miles per hour expected. Stronger winds and with gusts of 60 to 65 miles an hour are possible across the West Hills and areas east of Portland and Vancouver Airport. Tree limbs, even whole trees, will be susceptible to being blown down. Be prepared for power outages. Travel will be difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles along Interstate 205. Fire concerns. Conditions will be favorable for a rapid fire spread. Use extreme caution. I can't even talk. And remember the Columbus Day Storm? I'll give a link to that.
Here's some wind gusts for you. The Morrison Bridge. Can you imagine being in downtown Portland getting hit with a 160-mile-an-hour gust? Well, 49 years ago today they did. Newport 138, it was 145 on the south coast of Cape Blanco. Corvallis, a gust of 127. We've got video from the KGW archives for you. We'll check that out. It really is, they really are amazing pictures. This storm is truly the one by which any other storm in the Northwest is judged, and why not? It was $200 million worth of damage in 1962. That translates by some estimates to $6 billion today. Can you imagine? There are folks without power for 2 to 3 weeks. The impact on timber was devastating. It was like millions of board feet blown down. Whole orchards were wiped off.
1962 in Medford, Oregon. It was the night before the most powerful windstorm of the 20th century hit the Pacific Northwest. That Friday, October 12, 1962, a Columbus Day storm produced widespread wind damage from Northern California through Oregon, Washington, and parts of Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Medford, Oregon had a peak wind gust of 58 miles per hour, while Klamath Falls gusted to 66 miles per hour. Winds gusted from around 70 to 130 miles per hour across many coastal areas of Oregon.
Look at that. Portland, Oregon, 104 miles an hour. Yikes.
Oregon, causing massive damage. In fact, Cape Blanco reported an extreme wind gust around 150 miles per hour, but that was achieved with damaged wind equipment and was likely higher. Forecasters unfortunately had limited technology back then, and weather observations were frequently incorrect from ships at sea. They had little idea how severe this storm would actually be. This storm had the characteristics of a hurricane, which makes sense since it originated as a super typhoon in the western Pacific. Trees, buildings, and power lines were destroyed, and some residents were without power for more than 2 weeks. All told, 46 deaths were caused by this storm. This is expected to have explosive growth. Weather technology today is a whole different story. Meteorologists now have a growing list of forecasting tools at their fingertips. Our modern computer models, satellite and radar imagery would have easily identified this powerful and strengthening storm getting ready to plow into the Pacific Northwest. A full suite of watches, warnings, and advisories would have also been sent out in advance of this dangerous storm, giving the public plenty of time to prepare for this event.
There's up here in the Northwest to talk about as well. We're pretty much surrounded by it, which means we have a red flag warning to talk about.
Yeah, so the wildfire is already tough to deal with, but when you factor in a strong wind and then the ongoing dry conditions, it really makes it extra tough. We have a red flag warning in place starting Monday. I want to tell you all about it right now. We'll kind of step through the next couple of days because this may be some of the strongest wind that we've seen in the summer in quite some time. This red flag warning is all preparing for this event that's coming up, and you may have been following us the last couple of days and planning with us for this event. Here we go. We have very dry conditions, which could lead to some rapid fire spread. So this red flag warning is pretty much encompassing most of the state and into areas of Washington as well. Monday through Wednesday, paired with that is going to be some very gusty, windy conditions as we go through the next couple of days. It's going to begin Monday evening, and then it's going to get stronger as we go through the overnight Monday. So the National Weather Service is already preparing for this as well. They have a wind advisory here to the greater Portland metro area from Monday at 5 p.m. till Tuesday there at 1 p.m. This is going to be an east wind coming through down the mountains, through the gorge. About 40 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts are possible. And then we have a high wind warning here for all the